I think it's okay to have a marketing plan that is this simple and it works.
More people should have a simple marketing plan.
Grows the company. We work really hard at a few things and we grow them by literally millions of dollars.
Welcome to the Maven Marketing Podcast. Today is Maven Monday. I'm your host, Brandon Welch, and I'm joined by Caleb. Is that a new shirt, AG?
No way. Does it look like a new shirt to you?
We were just talking about wearing duplicate shirts, and I think you could find a couple times we've worn these shirts.
Brandon made me take my jacket off just so you could see that I wore the shirt again. Yeah. I don't know how many times.
I think it's a good color on you.
It's good.
Yeah, go the Steve Jobs route, right?
Yeah. Find what works and let it keep working.
New year, old shirt, right?
Yes.
This is the place where we help you eliminate waste in advertising, grow your business, and achieve the big dream.
Hey, I wanted to say thank you to everyone for listening. We just rounded another year.
Yes, thank you.
That was our first full year of recording this podcast.
It's worth celebrating.
And it's awesome. We're excited about it. We got a unique compliment this week from one of our fans, Jason. I'm looking at you. He said that we reminded him of the duo from Psych, the two characters on the sitcom. So
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I took it as a high compliment.
Okay.
Because it means that we are funny and
smart
enjoyable and handsome.
Yes.
Yeah, so come on, son.
So, new year. Last week, we actually dropped an episode that was not recorded in the new year. I don't know if you caught that, but I've been out of town. I've been on the road.
Yeah.
And we're back. So this is actually our first episode of recording this year.
Together.
And we thought we ended the year with, our very best advice on creating marketing plans. You can go look at steps 1, 2, and 3 from like the midweeks of December. And then we gave you kind of a recap and 25 tips for 2025 that we dropped last week. We had Alex Swire-Clark, one of the most brilliant dudes I've ever met, talking about behavioral psychology and how to align yourself with your team and how to get out of their way and let them, grow your company. Isn't that a novel concept?
Yeah.
And this week, let's bring it back to this idea of a marketing plan, because if you're in small business or if you are selling to a small business right now, chances are everybody's still kind of rounding out what this year's going to look like as far as their marketing efforts. If you're wise, you're planning that right now. You're not waiting till it happens to you. But we thought, hey, we talked a lot of theory. We gave you the steps we use and we've used repeatedly to grow hundreds of companies. But we pulled 3 random ones out, and we're calling this episode "Marketing Plans that are making millions." And for obvious reasons, we are anonymizing some of this. But these profiles, we're literally giving you the actual numbers, how we built the budget. We're going to go mostly budget and marketing mix because that's a big question right now.
Yeah.
We could get super theoretical and go into the messaging and share campaigns, which we do from time to time.
Yeah.
But we're going to give you 3 clients that are definitely growing by double digits and have been growing by double digits. And all of these would have, been in the category of making millions of dollars on return from that marketing investment. Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting.
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
So kind of a short episode, but just so you can hear it and go, where am I at from that, right? We're going to jump in. We have a legal client, we have a medical client, and we have a home improvement client. Those are the 3 areas that are kind of in home run territory for Frank and Maven, just over the years. For whatever reason, that's what we settled into. These principles and this balance should apply to anybody who is in, a service or expert service industry.
Yeah.
You would nuance a little bit for retail as far as percentages, but the balance and the mix between medias is probably the same if you're serving a local market.
Yeah. And then there would also be nuance for like hospitality and food service as well. I think a little bit of a trade there.
Yep. We'll talk about that as we go along. But
but
let's just say you are a brick and mortar or serving a, community or a region, or a lot of these are actually multi-regional clients, but the principle applies down to the city and town that you would be working in. So you want to talk about the legal client?
So this attorney group, it's multiple attorneys obviously here. They have been working together for about 10 years, obviously growing the company. When we started working with them, they had
one office.
And they've really grown tremendously over that time, and now they have 9. It's kind of a regional across the entire area.
In the South, ish
Yeah.
area. Yep.
Yeah.
And they've doubled the size of their business in just under 3 years. And I will say that the 3 years we worked with them before that, they doubled their business in that. So,
yeah.
But just so you know, I'm just going to give some, random revenues of these guys. 2.1 million 4 years ago, 3 million 3 years ago, 3.8 million. What would that be? 2 years ago, and then this last year was just under 4 million. And there were some external factors. We're going to talk a lot about external factors right now, or throughout some of these, because what you'll see. Yes, you want to set annual growth goals. Yes, you want to be mindful of, cash flow and what you're able to invest in a marketing plan. But what you'll see is it's not necessarily what you did now or even in the last year. You will see with all of these plans that even when there's a hiccup on a 6 or 12-month basis, because frankly, like in the last couple of years, it's been weird for some categories. There's been some headwinds.
Things happen.
It's at some point you always slingshot past that. And if we were to, data plot the 5-year trend, it would be doing, a more aggressive steep climb.
Yep.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's fair.
So, but you could easily say in 4 years they've doubled their business. Well, you could say in 3 years they've doubled their business actually. So, how did we do that, Caleb?
Yeah. So we're going to give you just the quick numbers, the overview of their marketing plan. We always think in 3 types of customers. Today, customers are buying what you're selling today. Tomorrow, customers are people who are not buying. I'm giving you a quick recap. People who are not buying today, but will eventually. Mm-hmm. And then yesterday customers are people who have bought from you in the past, and you want to get them to come back for repeat purchases or referrals.
Or bring their friends and family.
Yep.
So, Nate, the camera guy, who is the bigger group of people? People buying now or people who will buy in the future?
Fine.
Yeah, that tomorrow customer. There's
right.
actually, especially when you're thinking about larger ticket categories, I'm thinking definitely my doctors, my attorneys, my home improvement people. I'm thinking realtors. I'm thinking car guys. I'm thinking, cosmetic surgery. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking anything that is a longer term buying purchase. Let's just say it's more than 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Things we don't buy every day. There is mathematically a very, very, very finite and small amount of people in the market today. Mm-hmm. Now, those are worth going after. And if we can earn them and influence them and win them over a profitable pace, great. But what you always have to remember with today marketing is that there's way more people trying to get the customer at the finish line.
Yeah.
And so that customer, for starters, is more critical. They're more price sensitive the closer they get to the finish line. And if they haven't already decided who they're going to do business with, they're going to go to compare you on either price or how fast they can get the solution, or how easy or what we call convenient they perceive you to be versus the others.
That's right.
So you have to strategically be aligned to compete there. You have to have some price concessions. You have to be competitive and build your business from a strategy level, not just from a marketing level, but from a strategy level, to be a viable option. Because if you say buy today, and you're not positioned to be the best choice for today, then no matter how much noise you make, you're kind of throwing it to the wind.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about these today marketing budgets that we're going to tell you, like literally exactly what they're spending in every category, keep in mind that these would work a lot less. And if we did not have the long-term payoff and the long-term momentum of these companies winning over future customers. Mm-hmm. In roofing, if you take the average roof gets replaced one out of, every 15 years.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pull out my calculator and just do this right now.
Yeah. I don't think it might even be closer. Is it 15? Might even be closer to 20 or 25.
Let's just say it's 15. It's probably closer to 20, but that's 6% per year.
Okay.
That's 1 divided by 15. And if I divide that by 12 months, there's only 0.5% of people in the market literally right now that care about roofing that could ever be a today customer.
This month.
In
31 days.
In 31 days. So if you're measuring your marketing off of a 2 or 3 or 4 month window, especially if it's more of a branding type or what we would call a tomorrow campaign, It's just not mathematically sound to do that. Fast forward 12 months, there are a lot more people who would have come around. It's that 6%, right? It's that full 6%. Now we can do something with that, right?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, and keep in mind how long it takes somebody to buy in your category. Like if I just had a, attorney service, how long does my trade say it's going to be before I come back to needing that again?
That's right.
So this client, partner client of ours, tell us what they're spending, Caleb.
All right. So in the today customer acquisition category, they're spending Google search ads. They're spending $57,000 a year. Okay. That ebbs and flows a little bit based on, the demand and the amount of, available inventory on Google. But by and large, and that is purely for this client, purely Google search ads.
Yes.
Only.
Not YouTube, not anything fancy
not Performance Max or Discovery
or Display
else.
or anything like that. That's literally, they typed in this attorney's type service.
Attorneys
which is in the category
near me, or attorney in my town, whatever, or their very name, right? And so they spent $57,000 on that, and then on meta ads, which is Facebook and Instagram ads, mostly lead generation, which is why we put it in this today category. It actually serves tomorrow a little bit as well, but we put it in one or the other. So they spent $69,000, so just under $70,000 in today category.
I'll speak a little bit to that particular account. We have a lot of that meta budget towards calling them to action to like seminars or like downloadable things that they can, get a little bit of information. The client gives a little bit of value, and then they lean into the next step. But some of that is also in the category of like tomorrow advertising, because it's just video views and kind of pushing the brand in general. So
so that is their today budget all in was $126,000 for the year. This is in 2024. And then their tomorrow customer budget, they spent $144,000 on broadcast television. They spent $14,000 on a local magazine advertising, and then $68,000 on 7 different billboards. Remember, they're regional, so they're billboards in and around their town and the towns they serve. And then they spent about 18 to 20 grand on video production for those TV ads and,
that's worth
and all the things there.
Yep. It's a great campaign. Love seeing them. So, and then the yesterday marketing category, which is almost always the cheapest, but very often the most impactful. Yeah. $4,000 total on Christmas cards, graphics, mailers, just random
thank yous and feel goods.
Sometimes this client does appreciation events. I didn't see one in their budget last year. But
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, we should make them do another one. And then if you count all in email marketing just to their past customers with the creative services and the software and all that, it's $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Their entire budget is $369,170, or sorry, $770.
Yeah. And
that was the breakout. 35% of that went to today customers. The other basically went to tomorrow customers. There's maybe, 0.5% that went to yesterday customers.
That's right.
So,
and then if you put that, they were right at about 4 million. Put that 369,000. That's just under 10%. 10% cost of marketing.
Yep.
All in.
So
that is a real plan. That is the real results. $4 million company spent $369,000, and that's how they broke it down.
Yes, and I might add, they're very happy.
Yes, they are.
They are living good lives. All the partners there. So, take that for what it is.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we're going to talk at the end about that 30 to 40% in today versus 60 to 70 in tomorrow. Okay.
Yep. Next is a medical office.
Medical office. So these guys treat some really specific conditions in the we'll just say like the arthritis space and some other chronic related diseases, right? Specialist doctors. Okay.
Yep.
We've worked with them for a long time, so we have a ton of insight into this client. Their category is somewhat, I won't say gloomy, but it's somewhat cold to the touch,
Mhm.
just because it's not like, it's kind of for really specific things, and it's for people who are kind of in really bad areas, right?
Yeah. It's
So-
hard to find patients that make sense for them because of the specific service that they offer. So,
Yep. So I'm just going to talk about the last 3 years. 40% growth in the last 3 years, but if you look at last year versus this year, it was literally a 97% increase, almost doubled the size of their business. Okay.
that's crazy.
And we've been building that ramp for a long time. And and some things just kind of came to light, and they were able to start offering some services this year that slingshot it. But they've had that 20 to 40% growth for every year for as long as we worked with them.
Mhm.
And that's remarkable because they're in a pretty medium-sized market. They're not in like some big, fishbowl where they got tons of people with these ailments and they have to work really hard to even be able to serve one.
Mhm.
But they're going to do a little over 4 million. Okay. So we're taking some of our medium-sized, like small businesses, definitely not, in startup phase, but also not, these last two are not like our 10, 20, $30 million clients, right? Because I think that's more relevant. And definitely if it works at a smaller level, you can expand it when you get bigger.
That's right. Yeah.
So the plan for them, we spend a lot on Facebook or Meta, so Facebook and Instagram, $60,000 a year, $5,000 a month. I'm going to say half of that is like hardcore lead generation, and the other half would be, some like brand type stuff. Okay.
Yes.
We are at a phase in American media where you can use Facebook as, I'm not going to say a replacement for TV, but it does sort of the same thing if you do it the right way.
Yes.
If you have a long-term approach to Facebook, or I'm going to say Facebook and Meta and Instagram,
all the same.
Yeah, all the same. And the same is kind of true with YouTube TV ads. Like, used to be there was no reason to go use any media besides like TV or radio or billboards or something to try to become locally famous. There's enough of a generational shift that it can kind of make sense now. So they're spending $60,000 on Meta ads, and on Tomorrow Media.
Yeah, they're spending $80,000 on broadcast television, $80,000, and then they've got $5,000 to $10,000 in production. They got to keep the ads fresh every year. So we consider that part of the Tomorrow customer cost.
Yep. And then their yesterday marketing, which is basically their email marketing software, $4,000. Whoop-de-doo. But dude, I bet if we looked, it was probably $1 million of their sales that came from talking to past people. So overall, about $174,453 to be exact was their marketing budget, because we mine the dollars and cents around here, Frank and Maven, don't we?
That's right.
So if you do the math there, they have right at 33% in the today category, or like, Meta ads. And the other, 70-ish percent, 65 to 70% is going to Tomorrow marketing. Pretty remarkable, right?
That's pretty great.
And they're another one, like doubled the size of their business in the last few years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think it's okay to have a marketing plan that is this simple, and it works.
More people should have a simple marketing plan.
Grows the company. It really does. We work really hard at a few things, and we grow them by literally millions of dollars.
Yes.
Wild.
So keep that in your back pocket. Like, we think of modern day marketing, it's got to have the shiny objects in it. You will win far faster by doing the James Clear method, which is just a little bit better every day. That compounding interest, that steamroller, that snowball that builds up and says, I'm not big right now, but if I do a little bit of winning over people every single day, fast forward 2 years, I'm going to double in size.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. We have a home improvement. Well, this client is in the roofing category.
Yeah.
A little bit older of a company.
Yeah.
We've been working with them for a while. I will tell you, most of the growth we're about to talk about has happened in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
They're approaching 20 years in business. So, but they got really aggressive and consistent in their marketing,
halfway through. Yeah.
Maybe like 2/3 of the way through. So, we think they've taken over the most like market share in their space. I think they're at least
in their town,
neck and neck with the legacy
their one
business,
or two.
which that other business in their town has been there for 60 years.
That's crazy.
And they're overtaking them, right?
Yeah.
So, here's the numbers. Now, keep in mind roofing has a lot of external factors. Okay, and I'm gonna give you like it has to do a lot with the weather. So if you have a good weather year, that's actually bad for roofing, right? But that's what knocks a lot of roofers out. Like the guys that come in during a storm and build this big company and buy big trucks and build big overhead, and then next year there's not a storm. A lot of them go out of business. But let's see, 4 years ago, 13 million. 12.8 million. Let's see, the next year, no storm year. Okay, they still did 9 million. Now that's really remarkable. They did that by everyday service. And if you know anything about the roofing business, that's pretty dang remarkable. Okay. Year after that, they did have a storm, but it was, I will say, I remember this year, it was an equally sized storm as the year before where they did 12.8, but this time they did 16.2 million.
Yeah.
They got a lot more of the storm business.
Scraped through 4 million.
Yes.
In the same circumstances.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this last year, there was a storm. But it wasn't like this big event. It was like more of kind of some small storms that added up. Just under 18 million, $17.7 million. Yeah. In revenue.
Still about 10% growth.
Yeah. So, and that's crazy. It's crazy talk, right?
Your 20th year in business doing 10% growth. That's great.
Yeah.
People enjoy that.
Oh yeah.
It rounds off a lot usually.
So what do we do to make that happen, Caleb?
Okay, so this plan has a few more items in it than the last couple. Obviously, they're scratching at 18 million. Today customers, though, same two things. Google search ads and at $140,000 total annual budget on Google search. Meta ads, $25,000. So that's Facebook and Instagram ads. A little bit of lead generation and a mix between that and maybe some Tomorrow branding, customer awareness, right?
Yes.
In the Tomorrow category, they spent $143,000 on broadcast television. They also spent $10,000 on a news app sponsorship for that same station. So it's $153,000 to the local TV station. We added YouTube last year to the tune of $24,000 as well. And billboards for $12,000. So that's kind of rounds out their everything. And then roofing is such a long-term product. Their yesterday marketing is really just referrals. Very, very rarely. They're just now wrapping in their age of business to where they can do a roof for somebody who they've done in their first year of business.
And it's funny enough, they actually told me this year they actually did finally re-roof one of their original roofs.
Oh, that's crazy.
I think that happened this year. It was really, really crazy.
Short of a storm.
Yeah.
Nobody's changing the roof again.
Not
20 years.
Yep. Not just because, right? And then yesterday marketing, they actually don't spend anything on that. They do phone calls and they just work their past customers and they're really, they get involved in the community. They help, the kids' baseball teams and things like that. So that could be somewhat yesterday marketing, but they're not actually emailing or doing anything regularly on that. So
all in marketing budget ended up being $394,591.
Isn't that wild? 2%. 2.2%, wasn't it?
2.2
says it right
of
here.
top line revenue. Check the notes, Brandon.
I did check the notes.
You're like, it's
2.2% of top line revenue in that company. I mean, these people have an amazing business, amazing family. They are changing lives. They are the good guys. They have built a legacy. They have something if a second generation wants to take it over, they can. But there's a lot of people that would buy that business for a very, very, very hefty sum where the owners, if they ever wanted to, would never have to work again, right? Or worry about
much
money.
Of anything.
Yeah, much of anything, right?
Yeah.
So what did you see there? You saw very simple plans. You saw a lot of broadcast in local markets. That is still the most efficient, the cheapest way, the most efficient way to reach large groups of people.
That's right.
And to have your brand name become known, liked, and trusted. We are mixing it more with, if we're looking at like sub 30s, like the millennial audience, the old millennials and the, and well, even some of the younger
Who you
millennials
calling
now.
old?
Yeah, exactly. Really, really tough to reach them in broadcasts like
Yeah.
consistently, but that's the only caveat. But guess what? Mom and dad, grandma and grandpa still have money and they're still spending it, especially on medical, legal, and,
yeah.
and home
And
improvement,
home improvement,
right? Because
yep.
they're probably in the house they're going to stay at until you wheel them off to the,
Mhm. They definitely need
the
doctors
assisted living place
and
or move to Florida or whatever. And
legal assistance.
yep.
For sure.
So great categories to be in. But the principle would remain the same. You want 40-ish% of your budget, probably tops, 40% tops on like just hardcore. Are you ready to buy it? Are you buying today? But that will work so much better if you have already been there for months, years, and in these guys' case, some of them decades of being the known, liked, and trusted company.
That's right.
And a very, very big key for all three of these things is their creative is dadgum memorable.
Yes.
We make people laugh, cry, or get angry in their ads, right?
Just copying this plan won't make it work for you. That's the danger why we hesitate talking about these things.
Yes.
Because people could be like, oh, well, if I just spend this 2% of top line revenue on my $18 million company, I'll have it all solved. No,
nope.
That is not the case.
You are always more effective the more memorable you are.
That's right.
Like saliency, relevancy, persuasion in your ads, that lifts all boats. That is the ultimate leverage on any ad campaign. And all three of these guys have it undeniably. Like you could walk into a grocery store and somebody, you could mention the name of these companies and somebody would tell you what their ad said.
Yeah.
Like,
or if they're in the ad, people would stop them and be like, are you?
They get requests for autographs,
Yes.
right? At restaurants and stuff like that. So that can be you too. This is not an episode about creative, but we have lots and lots of episodes about how to write and, build memorable campaigns.
That's right.
But other than that, it's not complicated. We pick one or two things, and within these broadcast schedules, just so you know, it's been the same programs for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Been the same audiences for a lot of years. We just stay there and we go, hey, if there are 50,000 people that watch this program every day,
we need 6% of them a year.
Yep.
And then we know how many we could hopefully convince to be our customers, right?
Yeah.
If we talk about that roofer example from the beginning, right?
Yeah. And these guys probably won't ever serve a total of 50,000 people, right? They might serve 1,000 a year, right? If they're lucky, right? So keep that in mind. It's slow and steady wins the race. It's win them over. Be there, be there, be there. One day they will think of you first. And as Roy says, feel the best about you. Roy H. Williams. What's the other takeaways?
Yeah, I think we're harping on it, but invest in tomorrow. A lot of businesses market like they're going out of business next month. And I think that's the key to actually going out of business next month is just being hand to mouth. The difference maker is being consistent and being there all the time, being willing to invest and be slow and steady and have that pace. What I also find is we talk to a lot of business owners that aren't our clients as well. Business owners that are struggling with cash flow, high expenses, profitability, especially as it pertains to marketing. They are usually doing way too much today marketing. They're focused on, or they're trying things and they're picking it up and putting it down. And then they're trying something else and picking up and putting it down. Instead of staying on a course and saying, I'm going to be great here. I will make a presence. I will make myself known. They wait a couple months and say, didn't work. And then they throw it out, jump into some other lane and say, now I'm going to try this. And those are the same business owners that I hear saying, how do I find profitability in my marketing?
Yeah.
How do I get, but the ones who have been on the same track, the same train the entire time are the ones who are enjoying 2% cost of marketing.
Those are the ones we choose to work with.
Yeah.
Because you know what? When you have a long-term outlay, it's just like any friendship, any marriage, any good working relationship, any relationship in humanity.
Yeah.
When you are consistent and you avoid the big ups and downs,
it's a rule of life.
It really is.
Everybody, it's the beginning of the year.
Seed time and harvest.
You're thinking about exercise and eating well, and all the gym memberships are selling like hotcakes. But the people who will actually lose the weight are going to be the ones who still show up in July and October and December. And next year, when the year rolls around, it's not even a thing. Consistency,
right? Yeah, that's right. Seed time and harvest. So don't be that guy that tries to swing. Don't be the guy that throws 20% at marketing and expects your business to grow leaps and bounds like in a short term. Like if you got the money to spend and you want to do that consistently, great. You'll eat a lot of market share. Like you'll eventually come out on top, but don't do that with a short-term expectation.
Yeah.
Last thing, don't ever forget to do yesterday marketing.
That's right.
All of these guys are doing it in some way, shape, or form, but it's really, really cheap.
It's the cheapest.
It's also a form of consistency like we're talking about, right?
Yep.
So, okay. It doesn't have to be complicated. Put 30%-ish in today marketing, 70%-ish in tomorrow marketing. Always do yesterday marketing. Fill one glass at a time. That means do one media in each category really well before you adding another. Invest in tomorrow. Don't advertise like you're going out of business next month. And when the external factors slow you down, so long as it's not a direct cash flow, just have the courage to see it through. You will come out on top because your competitors are going to get scared and they're going to stop making noise, but you're the one that's there, confident, strong, showing up for your people all along.
That's right.
And isn't that a beautiful thing?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're really excited for this year. We have some new things coming your way. We have the Maven marketing audit. If you're sitting here going, hey, how strong am I in my marketing plan? How do I stack up to this magical Maven method these guys keep talking about? We have an easy way for you to figure that out.
That's right.
MavenMarketingAudit.com. We had to fix a few glitches on it, but it is now working, and it'll take you about 5 minutes. You'll get a really clear printout of how your marketing is doing for you.
Yeah.
And if you want, you can schedule a call with a Frank and Maven method professional and go through those, and we'll give you some like solid next steps as to what you should do in your marketing. And then if you want a little bit more help from there, we have a new Mastermind product that is almost ready. You'll be able to join that. Stay tuned to these episodes, and we'll be sending some emails out on that. But and you can join our community of marketers and get rub elbows with other small business owners or marketing professionals and bring your stuff. Like it's going to be a safety net of not making bad decisions. It's going to be wise counsel for how to move your marketing forward. And you're going to get some like really high level creative services and feedback from people doing this every day.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Don't do it alone. So that's going to be the Maven Marketing Mastermind. And then, of course, we have room on our roster for a couple of companies in this first quarter. If you are considering getting some real help and doing this one-on-one, Frank and Maven is at a point where we can take on a couple of more one-on-one businesses for the right company.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can inquire about any of that at MavenMonday at frankandmaven.com. And this is going to be a great year.
Yeah, it is.
We are here for you. We don't make any money on this podcast. We're doing this to make the world of entrepreneurs better, more confident, less wasteful, and ultimately prosperous, because we believe that small companies, owner-operated companies, are the biggest opportunity for influence in the world. And that's why we're here.
That's right.
We'll be back here every Monday answering your real-life marketing questions, because marketers,
You got it.
who can't teach you why,
Are just a fancy lie.
have a great week.